Hello everyone, welcome to the When at Work podcast. You're the host, Julian Leahy. Today I'm joined by the fantastic Dr. Priscilla Schelp. Welcome to the show, Dr. Priscilla.
Many thanks, Julian. Very excited to be here.
Excellent, I'm excited as well. And we're going to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And the secret to this, Dr. Priscilla, is that if you're not sure, you must use your lifelines. Otherwise, you will get knocked out very quickly. You've got 3 lifelines. You can poll the audience, do a 50-50 split, or you have 30 seconds to quickly Google the answer. Shall we begin? Okay.
Yes.
First question. Commonly associated with Ireland, a brogue is a type of what? Food, kilt, accent, or bagpipe? Commonly associated with Ireland, a brogue is a type of what? Food, kilt, accent, or bagpipe?
I would say D, but I literally have no idea. So.
Okay, well,
yeah.
I think you might want to use maybe a 50-50 split.
Okay, then let's do the 50-50 split.
Let's do it. So it's either food or accent, Priscilla.
Then it's probably the food.
Hey, Priscilla, you might need to use it. You might need to use another lifeline.
Okay, then let's do that. I told you.
All right, I tell you what. I'm going to tell you. This is my big hint for you. Lock in C. First and last time I'll save you, Dr. Priscilla.
Yeah.
Accent is a brogue. It's a Irish accent. It's also a type of shoe.
Okay. Interesting.
Interesting. Next question. Despite being only 10 sentences long, what children's book was adapted into a 94-minute film in 2009? Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, The Grinch, Where the Wild Things Are. These are quite tough questions.
The Grinch, I would say. But
Well, this film was directed by Spike Jonze, so it was kind of, I think it was Spike Jonze, so it was quite arty and a little bit strange.
Where the Wild Things Are, maybe then D.
You want to lock it in?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoo, jeez.
I warned you.
Well, you're still alive, Dr. Priscilla, and where there's life,
I have a dog.
there's hope. ILM, the special effects company, ILM, the special effects company founded by George Lucas, stands for Industrial Light and what? Movies, Magic, Marvel, or Magnificent?
I would say D, but
I would say you need to use a lifeline, Priscilla. So let's do poll the audience.
Okay, then we do that.
Okay, we're going to poll the audience. I'm going to save Dr. Priscilla.
B. Okay.
B.
Well, then
81%. Let's lock it in. That's correct. Okay, so where are we? We're at the $500 mark. We've got one lifeline left. Let's see how far Dr. Priscilla can go. George H.W. Bush's Presidential Library is located on the campus of what Texas university? University of Houston, Texas State University, University of Texas, Texas A&M. Now, this is tough if you're not in the United States. And you've got one lifeline left. If you were to guess, what would you guess?
I would say A.
Right. Do you want to use your last lifeline?
Yes.
Okay. So get your phone out and Google George H.W. Bush Library University. You got 30 seconds. George H.W. Bush presidential library, campus, or university. Something like that.
Okay.
How'd you go?
So I go with D.
D. Woo. Let's lock it in. That was correct. Well done. Some very tough questions. I must say, these are tough questions. No lifelines
Yeah, there's
left.
a reason. There's a reason why I chose building up a business and not betting on becoming a billionaire this way.
These are tough. They're sometimes easier than this. Okay, a growing spa treatment service, thermal auricular therapy, is better known by what name? Earcandling, snail crawl treatment, cupping, or thermotherapy. There's a clue in the name. A growing spa treatment, thermal auricular therapy.
A D? But that would be a bit easy.
What does auricular, A or oral, AURAL, what does that usually mean? It's not ORAL, which is the mouth. AURAL is
like ear candling.
Let's lock it in. That's correct. Well done. I had to give you a
lot of help.
Had to give you a bit of a nudge there, but you're still alive. From 1883 until the 1950s, what country claimed Vietnam as a colony? This is from 1883 until the 1950s. What country claimed Vietnam as a colony? Portugal, Spain, France, UK. If you know anything about Vietnam, some of the buildings there and some of the pastries that they make are a clue.
Okay, I have not been there, but
we have French patisserie. Vietnamese patisserie. I just gave you the answer.
Yeah.
French.
What to do? I thought about it was between France and Portugal, so
you might have got there. Luckily, I'm so incompetent. Okay, the next question. At the State of the Union address, who usually sits with the Vice President right behind the US President? At the State of the Union address, who usually sits with the Vice President right behind the US President? Is it the Vice President? Well, it can't be that. The Attorney General, the Secretary of the Treasury, or the Speaker of the House? At the State of the Union address, who usually sits with the Vice President right behind the US President?
I would say it's either B or D, would be my guess. But
this particular person is very much hated by the far right in the United States. And it's
probably Attorney General.
It's a woman, and her husband was attacked by one of these kind of people that thought the election was rigged.
Secretary of Treasury?
First name. Treasury? Her first name is Nancy. But do you know what her role is?
Okay. I'm more confused than before. I don't know.
Have you heard of Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, but I don't. I right now don't know. Okay. So secretary or
what? Which one do you want to lock in?
C.
C. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's incorrect, Dr. Priscilla. Speaker of the House is the person
Yeah.
who sits behind the US president.
Yeah.
Very tough. These were probably the toughest questions I've ever had on this round of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But never mind. Now we get to talk to the fantastic Dr. Priscilla. Tell us a little bit about your story. When you're not playing polo, what are you doing, Dr. Priscilla?
Working on my startup, to be honest.
And your startup is this one?
Yes.
networkx.app. And tell us about who that's for and what problem you're solving with this particular service.
Yeah, thanks. It's actually a platform. So it's with a platform, you always have two sides you need to solve a problem for, right? And so the platform is for individuals and organizations that want to build up a world-class network, that want to have an impact, that want to build up companies, foundations, whatnot, and want to build a network that's necessary to succeed. And on the other hand, so basically that's why we are admitting them into exclusive clubs worldwide, like business, private member, polo, yacht, golf, Rotary clubs. So they find the people they can collaborate on to achieve their goals. And for the clubs, a lot of clubs a bit struggle with overaging. They like to be more diverse. They want to grow, expand. Some had a bit negative impact from COVID. And so that's basically why the clubs work with us.
So you've got clubs on one hand, and then you've got business people mostly that want to do networking.
Yeah, but like networking, so the thing is we don't just select people. Like obviously we also select according to the criteria of the clubs, but we look that we really have like kind people with a good heart that are interested in building long-lasting relationships, that like to collaborate. So it's not like these networking events where everyone goes and wants to get something out and everyone gets home sad and alone and disappointed, but where you can like support each other and have good people. And I think that alone, a part of the many opportunities that come to you, it makes the life better, like to have good people around, right?
Absolutely, yes. And networking events pretty terrible often, like you say, and if you can somehow make it a little bit more meaningful, I think that will make all the difference. So just say I'm somebody with a company and I want to network with other people. Would I be a customer for your service?
Yes.
And then what would happen?
So actually, so we are quite nice. We don't try to squeeze. I mean, obviously we are a company and we are also generating like revenue. But so you can sign up for free to the platform, and then you create a profile. We screen you and say, like, obviously we want to protect clubs from like fake profiles and these things. So we are screening, and if you accept it on the platform, based on your profile, you're getting automatically suggested clubs where you fulfill the criteria. There's also a view where you can see all clubs, but basically then with the clubs you can check them out, see which ones you like, and very easily apply. And that is important because all of these clubs, what means exclusive is they have criteria, and usually they have referrals that you need. So usually you need 2 of current club members. So for example, that creates problems if you relocate, or for example, you come like from a bit different social background and you work your way up, then you struggle to get in. So we are trying to redefine exclusivity a bit in the way that we still we respect the criteria of the clubs, but we are pre-screening people based on who they are as a person, and then suggest them even they might not have the referrals from current members.
Interesting. And what areas do you service?
So we have business clubs, private member clubs, Rotary, polo, sports car, art clubs, um, sports car, old timer clubs, and what we are now also entering is yacht clubs, sailing clubs, golf clubs. And so the good thing is that there's something like that. There's not just one suitable club for everyone, but what we see, people usually tend to sign up for 2 or 3, so they have the mix. So usually they sign up for 1, 2 sports clubs, and then a private member club or something like that, or 2 different business clubs, and I don't know, sports clubs, or like a Rotary. And so this is like usually they kind of choose their perfect combination, and so they also don't get bored. Yeah.
Interesting. And is it mostly in Europe, your clientele, or is it worldwide?
So it depends. Like we have clubs in Central Europe, we have clubs in the US. So we are serving all Rotary clubs at the US West Coast, including Silicon Valley. So the thing is, and we have global clubs. We have also clubs in other countries. And the interesting thing is, wherever you are, like sometimes we have local clubs for you, but also there are some clubs that are like generally global, or some have e-clubs. So one example is, let's imagine like you're sitting in Australia, right? You have a great startup idea in Australia, and you want to get funding from Silicon Valley, and you want to somehow get into this tech community. We are partnering with Rotary in Silicon Valley, and they have e-clubs as well. So the membership there is not that super expensive. So even if you bootstrap, you can afford it. And so you can build up your network in Silicon Valley from home until you're ready to go there, for example. And so it opens, like, depends on who you are and what you need. It opens a lot of good opportunities and really like helps. So not all the clubs are super, super expensive. And that way we can help from like literally university graduates or bootstrapping founders to like we work with some of the most exclusive clubs in the world that are for like ultra high net worth, right? So
Yes.
people can literally develop, right, also through the clubs.
Yes, and you can't just pick up the phone and join these places. So you've kind of
Yeah.
demystified the joining process. You've got people on their contacts that you can correspond with, and then they can perhaps recommend you for these clubs. So it just gives you access into the hidden world, I guess, of some of these social clubs. And what are some of the benefits for business owners to joining these clubs, Priscilla?
Different ones. So one is obviously you can up level also your personal network. It gives you access, like literally, like I don't know how it's in Australia, to be honest. I've never lived there, but here it's like these communities are full of opportunities, and I mean it's like it's always like you obviously share opportunities with people you know and you trust. So, for example, in some of the community like clubs, super successful people, you like if you would meet them on the street, I don't know, it's like you wouldn't just speak to them, right? But there's a certain level of trust. You're in the inner circle, and basically you find their advisory board members, you find their mentors, you find their potential investors, customers, whatnot. But I recommend really, like, I mean, to see which people are in which communities and clubs we know. And so worst case, you can also like, you can read the profiles, but you can also ask us, right? And but I would not suggest just going in there thinking about what do I want to get out of it. So how I network, I go there, and when I meet people, I think, okay, how can I help them? And I really look who I click with, and then I say, you see with these people you click with, how you can support each other. Like I don't do business with people that have a bad personality. It doesn't matter how successful or beautiful or whatever they are. And that's my recommendation. Is like it makes the world nicer if you look for kind people and then support each other. And I think that's a good approach. Like
Yes, you could have some really excellent relationships, and like you say, it's some people you just click with, and you just magic can happen. You can start working on
yeah,
projects together, and forming companies together. Getting ideas off the ground, and you just need to be able to meet people somehow. So this sounds like a really great idea. And if somebody wants to join up, what's the process? They just head over to the website and click join us. And
Exactly.
yeah, and then what happens? Do they just have a look through the opportunities?
So basically, we screen and then we admit you if we think you're legit and we think you're fit. Then we accept you, and then you are getting recommended. Like you get clubs recommended to you, and then you can check them out and you can click on apply. Then write 2-3 sentences why you would like to join the club, and then basically the club usually will contact you and ask you, hey, do you want to join an event? Actually, also we have an event section on the platform where you see a lot of events of clubs where you can just visit them to get to know them, or they have a call with you, and then you can see if you like it, and then sign up for a membership.
Wonderful. And if people want to meet you and talk to you, which social networks are you on? Are you on LinkedIn mostly, Priscilla?
Yeah, like I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll put Priscilla's LinkedIn profile in the show notes if you want to connect with Priscilla and learn more about networkx.app, which seems like a great way to get into some of these clubs and expand your horizons in real life, not just online. Thank you very much, Dr. Priscilla. I'm going to wrap things up. And thanks for listening and watching. And I'll see